So do you think that during your 20s, there's just a way that you keep reinventing yourself to, become a different person at every stage? And what leads you to really doing that anyway?
Do we have a choice, girl? Do we have a choice? For the most part, I feel like for the beginning of my early 20s, we were just floating. The actual transitions have started when I became aware. I think, you know the thing where they say your brain wakes up at 25? Mine definitely woke up at 25. I was like, hey.
Yeah, I think reinventing yourself is more about when you put yourself in a space of learning. When you start to learn, it is easy for you to reinvent yourself. If you're not learning, then you're not really reinventing yourself. You're just, let's talk about life.
The highs, the lows, and the transitions. This is Real Life Diaries, so let's dive in.
So, how are you, Val?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
I love that the tables have turned.
No one could tell. You know, now you're going to make people see.
No, actually, you've been asking me how are you, but now I'm like, how are you?
You are leading, guys. She's leading the episode. If you know the amount of convincing I took for us to get here. Episode 3, though, I was really hoping it was going to be episode 10. I had given up.
No,
you're doing really great. You're holding it down.
First, I want to thank everyone that has viewed the previous 2 episodes. To put it into context, this is the 3rd episode. The thank you would have come in the 2nd episode, but the 2nd episode was already out by the time you watched the 1st episode. So this is a special thank you to everyone that watched the 1st episode. We got so much love. We got so many comments. I literally have them all in my head. Thank you so much for the support. And before we go further, please don't forget to subscribe, share, and like.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. Guys, thank you really. You guys are really the best.
We spoke about adulting.
We did.
Yeah. As young people that are transitioning from childhood to adulthood.
Man.
Are we still transitioning?
You and I are definitely in there. Now it depends on who is viewing where they are.
The adult. We are in the adulting, right?
You're married with a child.
Do not remind me. I have a ring for that.
Am I yet the adult?
No, so now that we are there is a way that we were initiated into adulting. Like when we had just left high school. In high school, we're still kids, right?
Yeah, very
when we
babies.
Just left high school. So there is that person you were in high school and the person that you are today. Are they the same people? Do you think they're the same people?
I feel like there's even one other person we've forgotten, the one at campus.
Yes.
That was a very different person from this one and the one at university and in high school. So most definitely not. I feel like even 1 year ago, even 2 years ago for me, 100% a different person.
So do you think that during your 20s, there's just a way that you keep reinventing yourself to, become a different person at every stage? And what leads you to really doing that anyway?
Do we have a choice, girl? Do we have a choice? For the most part, I feel like for the beginning of my early 20s, we were just floating. They tell you, oh, you finished high school, now look for a job, put together a CV, now go to work. The actual transitions have started when I became aware. I think, you know the thing where they say your brain wakes up at 25? Mine definitely woke up at 25. I was like, hey. First of all, I think at 25, I was first of all like 87 kgs.
Speaking of 87 kgs, you want to tell us about that?
That is just... I don't know, we're starting from weight again.
No, but no, could be 2 different people.
There was...
But
you would not... Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like alarming the way that I looked, but if you put together the 2 people right now, they are 2... I didn't even have hair. Do you know I cut off my hair at one point?
Yes, we remember.
You guys almost passed out. Everyone's like, why are you cutting off your hair? Actually, it wasn't even that deep. I wanted to get into natural hair. because I had retouch. But then again, it was giving transition. And then that's around the time when I got into...
What made you cut off your hair?
I honestly wanted to have natural hair, but then it was retouch. So at first I tried the whole grow it out, then have the retouch alongside the natural. It wasn't doing it for me. I was like, remove the other soft part. Let me grow my natural hair.
Life being life.
It wasn't even life.
Just you wanting natural hair.
Yeah. I don't know why Chris cut off hers, but we cut it off at the same time. Then for her, hers, it wasn't growing how she wanted it. Then she's like, let's cut. Now we all had like cut hair, and it was a whole thing. But to be honest, maybe inside there's like a bit of us that was like
adventure.
Yeah, because we're doing nothing. We had too much time anyway. We had time to make mistakes.
To grow your hair.
So we're like, let's maybe cut our hair. Yeah, then we started, Pinterest, what? Then one day we went and cut it.
Yeah, I think reinventing yourself is more about when you put yourself in a space of learning. When you start to learn, it is easy for you to reinvent yourself. If you're not learning, then you're not really reinventing yourself. You're just changing goalposts. There's no direction.
In confusion.
Yes, there's no direction. The actual reinvention is where you learn something new, you embrace it, and then you grow. Without growth, then you're not really reinventing yourself.
Yeah.
For example, if you left high school as, let's say, the party girl, right?
Yeah.
And now you're maybe at campus and you want to do better. You have learned that maybe you need to apportion your time a certain way.
Yeah.
You need to do your things a certain way so that you're able to put in maybe the other responsibilities that you've gotten. You don't just shift, like you learn the skill of time management. You learn maybe to apportion your time. Maybe you've learned even a new hobby that you love to do.
Yeah.
So you generally just learn and then you grow. That is the true reinvention, I think. That is the true reinvention. Not the one where you're like, I think I should try to eat and see where it stops.
Yeah.
Like today, let me eat meat and see where it stops. I want to see how much meat I can eat. That's not reinvention. That's not reinvention. So I think that true reinvention comes in your 20s when you're actually learning. And the good thing with your 20s is that it gives you the platform to do that.
Yeah.
There are so many spaces you move in, and trust me, you are going to learn. That's if you're being intentional about it. You're just going to learn all through the way. So what is that one thing that happened in your 20s that literally switched the clock for you?
I think for me, it has been more of challenges than lessons. I feel like the life presented me with challenges, and then I had to adjust and then learn in the challenges. So it's like there's this issue that has come up right now. What are you going to do about it? It could be, I remember during COVID, you know how in COVID we're all stuck in the house, eating, sleeping. And then my brother one time, like we had, I think we're out of something, only the boys would get out of the house at home because, as we are princesses. Anyway.
You are a princess. You're the only girl.
We'll be like, tugenda kuduka mkasana COVID or whatever.
Yeah.
So my brothers and aunts used to go. So that time I think my brother had gone. He's in the medical practice. So he had like those working permits. So I had to go to the shop, and then I went. Like the shop is literally like maybe 300 meters from home, but it's like a slope down and then a climb up. A little climb like this. I reached home like this. My mom. My dad, where are you from? I'm from the show. Do you realize that you are panting? I was like, yeah, but it was very weird for me because I was very active before that. I was like in that very same body that I had before. I was just very like, and then I sat down and I was like, first, wait, what was that? It was like such a very small distance. Then from then on, I was like, you know what? Since we have time, let me start like doing the workouts with my brother. And then my brother can drive you. My brother can drive you. So we started doing the home workouts or whatever. So that's how my fitness journey started. But then the career one just started just basically because I think I put myself in positions where I'm like, I can do everything. That's the mindset that I take into my workplace. Someone is like, yeah, there's a challenge. Yeah, but it's for Valeria. Then when I sit on my desk, I'm like, what have you put on your table? What have you put on your table? And now you don't have a choice but to learn and grow. In that process, you're like, okay, now how do I get this done?
Yes.
Who do I need to ask? So I am very exposing of myself in the workplace to challenges. So it's just a daily way of
for me,
living
literally,
for
when I put myself in a room, there is this thing, I don't know who read to me that verse. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me.
All of them.
Girl,
There's nothing
I
they
will
can
do
tell you.
I will
There's
do
that
things,
drive.
and the truth is, Christ will provide the strength.
Yeah.
You will just have to tell yourself, stop. You'll just
Cut your
have to tell
tooth,
yourself,
semkwano.
please stop. Don't get another task.
Yeah.
But I will do things. And the thing that I've learned when you're reinventing yourself, the thing about reinventing yourself is you come from a point of like you see things as from a lower perspective. You get the broad perspective of it from a younger perspective of your. Let's say like when you're younger, you see things differently from as you grow. You tend to see things in a more wide perspective. Yeah. So you see how you say that you sit on your desk and then you feel like you can just do anything.
Yeah.
I also get that thing. And for me, it's more like if by the time I am in that task, then definitely I have to nail it. There is no space to slack. Like, why would I not nail it?
Who gave us those options? There's no other.
Also, maybe that's how we were groomed.
Yeah, we're like,
army.
Also, for context, Tubaka Wempe,
Oh, by the way.
we have a hustler. We have some hustler inborn spirit in us.
Coming from there.
There's nothing you can tell a Kawempe kid
Are
who
you
is
serious?
ready.
All of them. All of them. Yeah, but you know, the examples are not helping. All of them, I'm seeing them how they do their thing.
I've thought about 3 and I'm like, aye.
No, but I
yeah.
think it comes from intentionality. When you know you have been assigned something, just do it to your best. You get,
Yeah.
like it's a thing that you add to you reinventing yourself. Leave alone there where you can be like, I'm tired. They'll understand. The child is tired.
Yeah.
But now you're an adult. You just have to get things done.
Yeah.
And reinvention is also about branding. You have to brand yourself with your best traits. You get like
Yeah.
you cannot be put in a room and then you're exposing the weaknesses instead of the strengths.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that you come with when you're trying to reinvent yourself in your 20s is excellence. You just have to try to be excellent at what you're doing. Choose the things you're good at. That is the first step. Cannot choose something that you know your strengths are not going to align with and then you expect to provide excellence. So I think it also comes with choose something you're good at and do your best at it.
But reinvention can also be go and try things that you didn't think you could do, because you will be very surprised at the things that you're capable of. So it could go either way. But also, like, by the time you're trying something new, it's like somewhere in there in your spirit. Again, you don't just say, now tomorrow I want to become a skater. You have never
That's
thought
where
about
the learning
it.
comes
Yeah,
in.
you can switch. You can do like a serious 180 as long as it's something that you feel in yourself is what you want.
And the 20s gives you the platform to do that.
It's literally all
more
they
about
expect us to
learning.
do anyway.
Yeah. In the 20s, you are allowed to, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to fall and pick yourself up.
Oh boy.
It's okay to learn and
Hey,
unlearn. It's okay to learn and unlearn. But the issue I have is the past. There are these people. There are these people from the past who registered.
I thought today we're going to mention names.
I'm not mentioning names because
Today we're
I
gonna
love
kuja
them.
to the front.
I love them.
And nobody have to
But
stop their
that's not
manners.
good. For example, you reinvent yourself, right? And then you're like, I'm going to like be doing my makeup. I'm going to be doing my hair.
I get it.
Yet like in campus.
I know where you're going with this.
I don't. You see this? If you do it, you're among the people who I'm saying. Yes, in campus, like maybe you used to leave your hair to grass.
But you have no
brush.
There was no things of baby hair. You would comb the hair to merge with the braid.
I say, if there was no baby hair, when did we go to campus?
And also, you at the beginning of the episode, Mama am I an adult? You don't even remember when you had
But the
campus.
thing is, those people, I understand that when you know someone from the past, I think it is very important that you grow with them. You get it? You see them in the grace that they hold at that point of their lives and you respect them in that grace. You get? Like, it's okay to remember like maybe, oh my god, I remember how we were like those days, it was this and that. But then to keep someone in the description of the past, I think it's unfair. It takes away from the amount of work they have put in to grow and actually be better. It's like if someone talked to you in reference to who you were like 10 years ago, it wouldn't be fair because they're addressing two different people. Like, I left that house, I no longer stay there. This is where I'm at now. It's just like, it would be just like, let me put it into like Christian context. If God saw us for who we were before we actually walked with him, imagine, like, would he still have favor on us, or would he love us as his children? So I think it's very important that you grow with the people that you love and you accept them. It's like rebranding. If you rebrand and there are some customers who don't like your new brand, they have to fall off. It should be okay that these people that do not see you in your new light, it's okay, they can just drop off because you're in another space, you're in another grace, you're walking in another grace altogether.
I don't even think it's possible or even healthy for someone to just be one version of themselves throughout their lives. Like, how do you even do that? Because at first you're a high school kid, then you became a university student, and now you're a working person. Then you're going to become a mom if you want. Then you're going to become an aunt. You're going to become a singer. There are so many versions of you that are going to exist. You cannot just keep yourself in a box. And I understand it's scary. You see these things that we're talking about.
So scary.
They are so scary because the failing is going to happen too. We need to also embrace the fact that failure is going to be part of it. There is nobody, even the guy who made the light bulb, how many times did he fail? Was it like 1 million or something? He just kept making it and making it and making it. And now look at us shining under that. Yeah. So it's just going to be part of the process to heal, to growing and discovering, and then eventually success. You know that thing where they say experience comes from doing something over and over again. Let us be very guided.
People who you're touching going.
No. It's true. Just because for you grew old does not mean you are bright. You have to have some kind of experience in something for us to respect your knowledge on that subject matter. So like it could be the fact that you maybe did one thing, you were a shoemaker over and over again, and now when we see you like if you want to learn how to make shoes, for you live through life doing nothing. Now you're mzee. Now because you're mzee, all of a sudden you have wisdom,
with the experience and the skills you've gathered.
Absolutely not. Yeah. So, but you cannot do that if you don't put yourself out there, if you don't challenge yourself, and you cannot discover what that thing is. For most of us who are still figuring out what our sparkle is, you cannot do that if you don't put yourself out there. Because for sure, here where you're seated, that's not it.
And again, it's not just about switching goalposts. You have to be learning. You have to be actually learning in those things. Like you said, it's about the experiences. It's what will shape the bigger version of it. The truth is, no one can ever really feel content or like, I have it all. I've done it all. Whether you're 20, whether you're 30, even at 60, or even
people
at 100.
Still figuring it
you're
out.
still figuring it out, like it or not. But then there are points in your life where you can feel grounded, where you can feel happy, where you can feel like you feel alive. Not because you've done it all and like you've finished it all, you've figured it out, but because you have a wealth of experiences that you've gone through, and when you sit in that position at that time, you're like, yes, I actually did that. Like imagine Val, for example, you did not maybe quench the thirst of you sitting behind a mic and actually doing a podcast. At 50, you'd be unsatisfied. You'd be like, if I had,
I wonder what it should have become.
You wouldn't have been ready for me.
Also me with my grandchildren there.
Yes. But now that you have done it, you're able to be like, okay, I did it.
Yeah.
I did it to my best. And this is what came out of it. I'm happy I did it to my best. What I got out of it, I got out of it, right? You'll be satisfied. So it's not like you have it all figured out, but you have the satisfaction that I went in that room and I did my best.
You took a risk.
Yeah. It's like the pain of not knowing what would have come out of something is like the regret is way bigger than the failure that I failed at it. Regret is always bigger than failure.
Yeah.
So I think putting yourself out in your 20s, trying to reinvent yourself, you must have something that you want to be. at the end of the time. Let's say, not I want to be a doctor or I want to be an engineer, but maybe I want to be a rich wife.
That's a very big goal, by the way. It's a very nice goal.
Rich housewife. But like when I have my business.
The two things are not doing. You step at rich wife.
Okay, yeah.
You can be a rich wife.
Rich wife.
Yeah.
So you know that everything you're learning and doing in this time is to get there, right?
Yeah, but the thing is that the more you put yourself in those rooms, the other thing that is going to come at you, apart from the fear of failure, is going to be the imposter syndrome. Because you're going to enter rooms at you're putting yourself out there. Ogenda kuingira room. And then you tell yourself, do I belong here? Should I be here? And then it's going to be worse when someone else affirms that. Like, people will start, especially in corporate. Let's give corporate an example, because that's where I have experienced the biggest imposter syndrome of my life.
So
I'm working on it.
How would you describe imposter syndrome to start with?
It's pretty much the fear of being seen as a fraud. Like, you carry yourself in a room feeling less than already. You experience doubt.
Is it like,
of
what
yourself?
If they find out I'm not as good as I'm putting myself out to be? What if they find out? But
that is despite, that's why it's imposter syndrome, because it's despite the fact that we know that you're good. You are actually good, but you feel like, what if I'm not good enough? So it's kind of rooted in that self-doubt of what if, or maybe for me personally, the constant need to always prove myself in every single thing I've gotten in life. I have to fight and fight and fight and fight.
Does it come from wanting to be perfect? Because the pressure that being a perfectionist brings is that you're like, oh my God, what if it fails? Then they will all know that I am not perfect.
Yeah.
And maybe they will all know that I'm not as good as they think I am.
Yeah.
So where do you think it comes from? What is it rooted into? Because you're good, you're worthy, you're deserving of all of these things. So where does that doubt come from?
It's just there.
There?
I think it's mostly that fear. It's mostly that
fear.
Like, you fear so much, you're just like, okay, now, because fear is rooted on a negative usually. So it's mostly, okay, let's say you fearing to be exposed, that maybe you don't feel like you're qualified. Despite the fact that you're qualified, you're like, what if they see me that I'm not qualified? Then they're never going to respect me again. So then you're going to enter into the room already feeling less than everyone who is seated in that room.
What
so
I'm picking from it is that you can either enter a room with the attitude of I am perfect and you guys can see it and I'm here to prove it.
Yeah.
Or I know what I know, but if you know something, teach me.
Yeah.
Let's learn. Let's get it
That doesn't
done.
mean I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know it all, but you can teach me. I will say what I know. You can teach me and let's just get the job done. So I think entering with this other kind of attitude is how you beat the fear, because you've already exposed yourself, right?
But also, it's the fear that it's just an imposter syndrome, because you are qualified, but you feel like you are less than. It's just like the fact of the matter is you are qualified. So when you begin, no one is seeing it. It's just in your head, kind of.
Yeah.
But then it's so much worse when someone else, you start hearing people talking about it behind your back, like, how did that person get into that role? How did that person?
You see,
when they
but
affirm
what
it
I
for you, it
think
gets so much worse.
What I think is you can be qualified and yet you do not have the knowledge of some things.
Yeah,
We
or the
have bosses,
capacity, because
right?
the word capacity
We have
is...
both.
I know that I've had imposter syndrome that I've been working through, but I feel like the environment that I work in gives me the environment to thrive. So I'm not even scared of them seeing me fail, because everyone is just willing to let you learn. They're just like, hey, okay. So now I just go and do my thing, and then I know if I did something wrong, it's going to be corrected. But most of the time, I've already like worked through what could have gone
Does
wrong.
imposter syndrome
So
show up also in relationships, family, or is it just only in work, the work environment?
mine I've experienced in work, but it can show up in a relationship. Like if you have previously, the avoidant style of attachment, the avoidant, the anxious, and the secure people. I'm an avoidant. So when you're working towards getting out of avoidance, and then you find like maybe an anxious person who is your partner, which that is the worst combination that could ever live. Those two should stay away from each other. But when you find an anxious person and you're still trying to be like the secure, maybe even the secure, any other type of attachment style that is not yours, you're going to feel like they're going to see
that
because
I'm an avoidant.
they're going to see that, and then they're going to leave me, and then now it's going to just be there in your head non-stop.
That's why I'm saying the truth will set you free. Why don't you just come out?
That's why I said you'll be working through getting out of it. So, there's a period of transition that brings that self-doubt. Like, let me say, you are qualified to be in this room, but still, you are pursuing your SCCA. So it's not like you are fully qualified to be in this room, but you're working and learning towards getting there. There's that transition knowledge gap that you feel. Like it's the same thing when you're working on yourself, but then being in a relationship at the same time. For me, I find that thing very difficult to do. But everyone is just like, yeah, but you're not going to find a man when you're perfect. But I'm just like, yeah, but like, what am I doing with myself now while I am there with him? So I think it's there in relationships.
This is what I tell myself. I may not be like at 100%. There may not be a time in your life where you are at 100% or you are perfect, right?
Yeah.
There are times where you're going to feel less. And then there are times where you're going to feel like I'm the baddest. But in those times where you feel less, you just have to reaffirm yourself that, you know what I am putting in is my best. I'm putting my very best here.
Yeah.
You should have at the back of your mind that I'm putting what I usually tell myself, do your best, leave the rest to God. If I am sure that I have ticked all the boxes, I have done my best.
For me, that's it. I go in prepared. Like if I have a thing to do, I'm going to just make sure I've done it to 100 by the time I'm in that room. So it was a lot worse before. Actually, in the like recent, I think this year, end of last year, I've just been doing my thing and thriving. But like beginning of last year, I had I think that's when I had just gotten promoted. I'd be like, huh? Because first of all, I'm supposed to be advising on analysis and stuff like that.
Like where I think that imposter syndrome affects is where you give up because they've seen you. They've caught you. You don't have SCC. They've caught you. You don't have interpersonal skills. You're pretending. But you're there in that room. So I think at that point, don't let them. Make sure they catch you doing your best. You get it? Like, don't slack at any one point. Just keep giving your best. Be present in that room and do it to your best. Do the assignment to your best. Speak at your best. Everything, do it at your best. At the end of the day, when you combine all of these bests that you've put in, really there is nothing else you have to give. And then that's when you just leave the rest to God. Because if they catch you and you also catch yourself, that I didn't do my best.
Yeah.
The final result is actually done below. That stamps it all. But if you have done your best, even they'll catch that what they will be seeing is that you're doing your best. You're growing. You're learning. At the end of the day, you reach there. Like you get to that point where you have learned, you have done your part, you have done your best. What is it?
Yeah. I think how I'm still overcoming, but what has given me the big strides that I have now is one, preparation, because there's nothing. Towali chogenda gamba mtu, by the way. You're not gonna be enter how the room, but you have to have your backing of knowledge and information.
Yeah.
So you know that in the people who are entering this room, you have to you have to work twice as hard. Most of them are going to just wake up, come to the meeting at 8.
Yeah.
You have to come in at 6. And then give yourself 2 hours to actually get into whatever it is that you're going to talk about, so that when people start talking, you have to like basically playing catch up at one point. And then eventually it's going to be from those experiences of the environments but first of all of us deserve to be in environments where we are helped to grow. Yeah. You and I are speaking out of privilege because of our environment that allows us. Yes, it is, you girl. We do have one of it's just that our work environments right now just allow us to thrive like that. But there are people whose bosses do not even let them make a single mistake. You make one mistake, you're going to get backlash at the PIP. They're going to then give you a warning letter. Yeah, like there's some people's bosses who are going to do that. But just know that what you deserve is a place where you're going to grow. And if you're in an environment where you do not feel like you can grow, because there's no way, like shrinking yourself should not be an option. Saying, okay, let me just be here in my little corner and just get through it. That cannot be an option. Maybe that's when you need to think about the reinvention. If you are strained too much to even take one little small risk, then maybe that's not where you should be. That's what I'm saying. Because what's the alternative? We've said we're not going to shrink.
Yes.
And now for you, anyway, but then we need money. I don't know, man.
Yeah, we
just
need the money.
And find your in between.
Yeah, but I think also reinvention sometimes happens naturally. You
Yeah.
get it? Like you come from a point where you're maybe working and you're not a mom.
Yeah.
Then you're working and then you're a mom. Those are two different things, right? You do not take the working lady back home
Hera doesn't
to be
care.
a mom.
She doesn't
You
care.
get it? So also to be able to sort of swap it in
Mm.
and find a balance.
Yeah.
Reinvention can happen naturally. Sometimes it can happen when you list like the situations and the scenarios just happen and you have to reinvent yourself. You have to be more agile. You have to be more swift. Like you have to just be able to get things done. So when it happens, when like you're not planning, like I want to learn how to play hockey. You're not like thinking of a thing you want to do. You're moving through life and then you become a mom or you become a wife. You definitely have to reinvent yourself because the lady who just wakes up at 7 to be at work by 7:15 is not the same lady who wakes up having a husband and a child. You don't wake up at 7 and you expect to be at work by 7:15 with
When
those
you have-
two.
yeah.
So you have to also be intentional. I think sometimes reinvention happens on that job.
So
Like,
prepare.
Learn.
Wake
You
up
have to
at
be
6.
willing to learn and to be agile, to just be flexible with all of it because all these are God-given responsibilities. Personally, for me, I see them as ministry. That's the easiest way to see them. If you see them as work, you get it. So seeing them as ministry, you're able to be like, you know what, still at the back of my mind, it comes down to I'm going to do my best at this. I'm just going to do my best. If I can do my best, anything else that falls short, I did my best.
If it all fails, fake it till you make it. I'm telling you, the alternative is not to shrink yourself. That one is not going to happen. So if you're not prepared, it has refused. We have prayed. You need to affirm yourself as well. Like literally have literal daily affirmation. I am great. I deserve to be here. And when you talk to yourself like that, it switches something in the mind.
Yeah, definitely.
And if it refuses,
and
put
also,
on a front until when that front allows and connects with the brain. And it eventually does, by the way.
Also, what you take in. You cannot be saying, I want to be the best employee of the month. But maybe you are listening to people who are like, going to be a 9 to 5. You get it? Or you're saying, I want to be the best mom ever. But you're listening to things like, motherhood is pain. Once you get into motherhood, you lose yourself.
You must sacrifice your entire well-being.
Like, you're going to give your life all to this one person who will grow up and later leave you alone, sad, lonely, and angry. You get it? So I think it's also what you take in. If you're on a journey to be your better self, read books that will help you to be your better self. Sign up for a course. Sign up for maybe a gym class. You want to be your better self, right? But you're sitting in a corner watching Netflix with a big sack of chicken. You're not going to be fit. You're not going to be fit. You like all them in sacks or buckets?
They are buckets.
See me, I don't eat chicken.
Don't say such a thing on the microphone. You guys.
Anyway, but align yourself with things that are going to take you there. You're facing imposter syndrome that makes you feel like you do not fit in the room. But when you go out of the room, you're like, I knew that we are not for those things. Even my grandmother, us in our lineage.
Such talk.
Like instead of going to places where they're going to be like, you know what?
Yeah.
You didn't like you spoke and maybe you weren't very eloquent, but you had a point.
Yeah.
You made your point. You shined. You get it. Then you go and listen to people who will be like, you're going to be a corporate. You get like align with that dream that you want to see yourself in. It's not for me. I actually don't think it's okay. You could say fake it till you make it. That's the statement. But I think it's living in it. You get, like you live through it. You can literally see the end. So what you have to do is make sure every step is actually taking you to that point.
Yeah.
I think that's what brings it all together, gives it intentionality and focus.
And also, like,
Yeah.
the people around you, there are people who have, like you said, I think it was in the first episode, every single thing that you've been through, someone has been through.
Yeah.
And majority of the time, there are people who we have around us that are actually willing to help us. You are not a god. You
Yes.
legitimately need help, as we have
Yes.
established. So go and ask for it. Ask people how things are done. Ask people, actually,
Yeah.
you'll be very surprised how much people are willing to like pour out and learn. They always be like, oh, and then eventually you like
Yeah.
stomp on them. But the point is, just put yourself out there, expose yourself, ask and learn, ask and learn, ask and learn. That's the only way. There are people who have been doing these things for years. There are
True.
people who have grown through the ranks. There are people, even them, they know because they have been in your position before. So they probably have like a thing or two to tell you about what you're going through. So ask.
Yeah,
If they
be
don't,
ready
what's
to
the
learn.
worst that is
That
going to
could
happen?
happen.
They're going to refuse to tell you. Then what?
Adulting, they don't beat you.
They do not.
They don't beat you.
Except
However, people. If they are walking around in red, they beat you. No, Bambi, I'm not even talking about political.
and this is not the year to even you girl.
Anyway, but like, it's not like they're going to beat you.
Yeah.
So-
if they say no, so what? You move on to the next
Yeah.
one. By the way, develop a hard skin. In reinvention, Tembuli moving to be I'm a baby girl, soft life era. Honestly, there's a part that is going to shake you a little bit. So you have to develop the skin of I'm down right now. Also take a minute. No one is saying get up immediately. You have
Yeah.
been beaten down. Take a minute.
It's okay to fail.
And then come back. The whole point is to come back. It's the comeback part that is the issue. Because you could as well say, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm done. But just get up and keep fighting.
By the way, you're saying this thing of reinvention.
Because this is where I live.
I feel like you really reinvented yourself.
I feel like Anya Tandawa is crazy. Anya
You
Tandawa
really
is
reinvented
insane.
yourself. So what
But I
do
am
you
different.
think? What do you love most about reinventing yourself?
Oh my God, the final product. It's just one of those things where you're just like, look at me.
Yeah, like how did I even get here?
Yeah,
Yet
like-
it was all you.
It was. You look back and you're like, whoa. I've actually moved steps. I've actually pushed myself to do these things. Especially the ones where I told you can't do them.
Yeah.
But maybe when you prove you wrong. It's the best because you're just like, wow, I'm actually capable of this. It actually pushes you for more. Actually, that's one of the things that also drives me. It's like, but I've been in the ghetto. Wow.
Yeah.
This doesn't even feel like harder than the previous one. So surely I can get through it. So it's just the final product that you come up with, but also the hands that you move with. I feel like I've met so many people on my journey. I've dropped so many, but I've met really amazing people.
Yeah.
You inclusive. You've been on these streets. You've been on the street, but I feel like I've met so many people, and it's just a wealth of human beings. They're not all bad. Like I feel like it's a wealth
But
of
the
very
bad
many.
ones are also
There
there.
are really many, but like the good ones
Yeah,
too.
the good ones are
You meet ones
there,
who's like,
true.
where have you been? Shout out to Dora Kahonde. What's up?
But anyway, so for me, the whole reinvention thing, what I love most about it is you get to live different versions of yourself. Life is so broad that I feel like you cannot just be one person. Like you cannot just be Maria, the accountant. You
Yeah.
can be the accountant, you can be the entrepreneur, you can be the mom, you can be the friend, you can be the wife. There's just a long list of things that you can possibly be in this life. And at the end of it, you will feel full and like I have lived. You get it? You don't even have to be rich to feel like I have
You just
the
have to
life out of this
experience.
life. You just have to experience and be exposed to different capabilities of yourself. I think that it's within us. It's within us to do so many things. Like the amount of things that, not like you, Val. You're here, but you're a fitness coach. You coached me. You coached me for one day, right?
Yeah.
A wealth of things that you can do with yourself. And you can only find out when you put yourself out to learn, when you expose yourself to them. You can be you can work like the 9 to 5, and then you can also do the business, and then you can also be maybe the coach helping out your community women to learn how to save anything. And that is what enriches life. I think that is a life well lived when you're able to do all of those things and do them to the best that you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
But also we are in our 20s. This is literally the time. I'm not saying in your 30s you can't do it, or in your 40s you can do whatever you want at any time of your life. Thank you very much. Yes. But specifically in your 20s, because this is ground zero. This is where the start is. So everything now, the other thing you need to kill is social media comparison. Murder it very quickly. Because you're not Kylie Jenner. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're not.
She's 21.
But then she moved away from 21.
She's no longer 21.
She's not 21.
Social media person. I don't even know who Kylie Jenner is.
You cannot.
Being my best.
We are starting from different levels of ground. Some people are starting with trust.
Different levels.
We are on different levels, and that's the truth. I'm buying connections that are going to take them in rooms. For you need your qualifications. That's why you need to study really hard and have good books that will help you.
Yeah.
They will not guarantee, but they will help you get into rooms. Other people have trusts. For you, starting your investment from here.
Sure you have it.
You have it for your kids though. Do better. But like learn from those people how they have lived. Go to how they be like, yeah. So some of those things are going to start with you. Some of them, they have not been done before, but this is a new generation, because the things that work for our fathers and mothers, literally the world changes every day. You cannot afford to be the same person. Do you know where AI came from?
Go.
We just up and woke up, and now AI is taking over everything. You cannot write a document properly without being like, hi AI, first check off for me.
The funny thing that I've learned over time is you spoke about like the more privileged people. The thing that I've learned is a price has to be paid anyway. Like, the price to get that life that you want, it has to be paid anyway. For some, their parents paid it. It doesn't mean that, they just woke up and now they're living a happy life. No, the price was paid. It just wasn't paid by them.
Yeah.
For other people, guess who's going to pay that price? You. Yes. So that you shouldn't live in delusion. You shouldn't live in delusion.
Again, don't overfake it.
That for you, when you see someone else like living a certain way, you also can live that way. We are working on different levels here. You have to know and understand where you are coming from. Like you cannot be. Have you played javelin?
The ball that rotates back to you and stuff.
That thing which you throw then goes very far. It depends on what level you are at.
Hey, I'm on ground zero, as you can tell.
Anyway, but where it depends on where you're standing and where you're throwing from for you to actually reach the point to which the ball is supposed to stop. So I think you need to understand and adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
Okay. Like you don't go and rent an apartment of 1.2 because your salary, they've increased it to 1.5. What is it?
Or rather, because Maria stays in an apartment of 1.5, but also for me, I'm on Maria's level. You're not.
You can be friends.
You're not my love.
You can be friends, but on the same level.
Yeah.
And the thing of contentment, like it's okay. It's not like we're not saying go and stay in the slum or anything. Stay in a nice place, but it doesn't have to be stretching you out of your limits. Shouldn't be stretching you out of your limits or making you fall short of something. Like you're not eating because you're sleeping in a nice place. You get it? I think there is a way that planning helps you to understand where you are in life and to fit in that position you are in life. Because we're in those positions for a reason. 1 minute you're living below, another minute you're living above. But the most important thing is, what is your take home from all of that? And how do you get out of that to create the actual life that you want to see for yourself? Because you cannot create that life that you want to see if in this position you're not maximizing like the use of your resources and your
because they're supposed to help you grow.
Yes, they're supposed to help
be the
you grow.
Stepping stone.
So if your goal is to actually grow to a certain level of wealth, then you're not going to deplete the little resources you have because you're trying to keep appearances or you're trying to level up. I think it all works out in the end. It all works out in the end when you plan and you know where you're going. Eventually, 1 minute you're walking you're the pedestrian, the other minute you're in your car. Right? You get it? And then you will be satisfied, in that position. You got what you wanted, you worked for it, you were diligent about it, and you got there. And
we should talk about finances. We should talk about how to manage finances in one of these episodes. Because I feel like that is one of the things that also holds us back so much. Even when you have the opportunity, God has given you the opportunity to make, even if it's 1M, the way that you have handled it, surely, bakongera bacha 1.5 when you cannot handle 1 million.
Yeah.
It's just going to get worse from there. So opportunities come to you when the ones that you are granted have been handled in their littleness, in their humbleness. You've handled them well. That is the only way that you're going to grow into the next one. Because then they're like, maybe you're ready to handle a bigger challenge. But the moment you're misbehaving on this one, no one is going to add you responsibilities to do better than that. So
in other words, do your best. Just nail it. Keep doing your best, even when it comes to money and finances and family and friendships. Just be faithful at it.
And don't stop.
Yeah.
Do not stop trying. It's going to be hard, boy. It's going to be
really not
easy. It's not easy. It's really not easy.
Every 2 days you have to reaffirm yourself.
But yeah, get into the habit of affirmations. Yes. Affirmations actually truly work. And also, like that very morning, you know, the things you listen to in the morning, very early in the morning and before you go to bed also affect you somehow in your psyche. I do have a routine. I have like a specific podcast. Let me plug her. She's really the best. Oh my God. Slay Girl Slay. I listen to, like, she has like hers are all about like how her day went, for example, and the things that she learned from it. But it's always, she's usually shouting at us like, get it together, sister. So that's, I prefer to wake up in that vibe than to wake up in even music. I'm just like, I would rather find music in the gym. Like when I get to the gym, that's when I start listening to music. But at the beginning of the day, I'm just like, I need like a different kind of energy to get into it.
Do you know one thing?
Then even to bed, pray, my God.
Pray.
Release that. For me, prayer usually helps me to release it to another. Like I remove it from myself.
People real pray like they're reporting.
It's true. I've been reporting for the most part. But then again, I release it and feel like, okay, now, because majority of the things that are happening to me right now, I feel like I'm going through them on my own. Imposter syndrome and the challenges of reinvention also happen because you're the first of your kind. For me, that's where, oh my God, that question you asked me of where does it come from, probably comes from there because you're the first of your kind to do anything right now. So it's like, how does this get done? Yes, there's just, my brother has lived a whole different life. I cannot say, let me look up to Kevin. It's just me. My family people are all into business. I cannot tell you one corporate person who is like doing the corporate thing. So it's like, I am one of one. So obviously I want to be in that room. Like I am supposed to be here, right?
But you know the beauty about it? It's what gives you the competitive advantage. Because there's no one like you.
Yeah, I'm setting the bar.
Yeah.
And boy, am I setting it high. Ooh.
You are the bar. So it becomes a thing of, it is you. Like, there's no one else like you. So whatever advantage that you have, it is only you who has it. There's nothing that someone else, like, of course there are those general skills and all, but there is a thing about you that you bring into the room that no one else can bring. So I think you find that out and then you bring that into the room. Yeah. But also the thing about reinvention is you cannot why it is reinvention is that there's been a picture of you. There's been who you have been and there is who you are trying to be. You cannot be who you are trying to be by doing the same exact thing over and over again. You get? Like most people be like, I don't know why I don't grow. I don't know why I'm not getting to this particular level. But you're waking up the same time, eating the same food, dating the same man, except if you're married.
That thing for dating the same man should not be you saying it with that much energy.
No, but like if that is the result.
If he wasn't a good man, for example.
If he wasn't a good man. If this is you, the result of all of those things that you're doing, this is who you're getting, right? What if you change just one thing? Like to reinvent yourself, you have to be willing to change something about what you're doing. It could be your routine. It could be maybe start reading a book, go to church on Sunday, anything. Like you just have to be willing to change. So I think re is you're doing something different. Like you're switching from one thing to another. So
and it's a ball of change. It's a ball of constant change. You have to be very comfortable with you have to be comfortable with a changing environment. Get comfortable with it. Like get used to it because that's just how the world is working in general, not just us. Now Trump
Because
is in
the next minute you order for pizza and it's a robot who brings it.
Then they change our president and then all of a sudden now everything is not working the way it's supposed to, all your investments. Yeah, so like it's just how the world works. Just get used to it and learn the art of picking out the opportunities in every challenge, because people got rich in COVID. There are people who became really, really wealthy in COVID because
and then
they
there
saw,
are those who got
and
really
then those
broke.
who really those who got broke. So every change brings both sides to it. You just need to learn to look out for the opportunity to grow and to be better. And if it doesn't work out, this is life.
But then the important thing, Val, to note is change without knowledge, wrong.
Yeah.
You get it? Like, get yourself, like, know things. Read a newspaper. Like, how are you going to plan
Read a newspaper.
Okay, scroll TikTok. The edge is showing.
Read a newspaper.
Scroll TikTok. That's what I meant. Oh my God, my sisters are not proud of me. Read a newspaper.
Do you know your TikTok can be really, but it depends on which side of TikTok you're on.
But TikTok,
it depends on your side.
TikTok.
No, but there's an algorithm. For me, my TikTok now, I'm on the algorithm. If you're not seeing a gym person, you're going to see a corporate web. You're going to see someone who's telling you about maybe corporate outfit, because I'm changing my wardrobe because I no longer fit in my former clothes because I renovated my size. So you're going to see like tips on doing that.
You renovated your whole size.
I'm even renovating my parents' house. I cannot relate to that. I feel like I've been
because
3
I work
sizes.
out. You get it?
Why are you saying it so loudly? No one is fighting you, but yo. We are already allowed, but it's already anyway. Yeah. So it depends on which side of TikTok you are. Again, don't go scrolling into because.
But generally, what I meant to say is
get
avail
information to yourself
and learn. Be able to learn. Be able to listen. But just be agile. Put yourself out there.
Yeah.
I think that's how reinvention works. You are in your 20s. Actually, not even just in your 20s.
Even if you're not.
At any point in your life, you can definitely reinvent yourself. This guy of KFC, when did he become the KFC king? Like at 82? Speaking
bro.
of which, how old is Trump?
But that guy has been wealthy before he became president, but that you can't tell him nothing.
He has become a president again,
Yeah.
right? So for me, it just shows me that there is no point in your life where you're going to say, like, I have it
Cut
all,
in
I
two,
have
say,
finished. There are things he probably did in his first presidency that he's not going to do in the second term of his. So I think at any age and at any time of your life, it is very much possible to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
As long as you're willing to learn, willing to change, and willing to grow.
The age we are at is supposed to help us learn the art of doing it, because you're going to do it for the rest of your life. So start learning how to do it now.
Learn the basics of doing it.
Yeah. So that any age comes or even if the world turns upside down, you know how to get yourself together. Girl, we've been speaking for now.
Hey, I didn't. I thought we don't have content.
We're going to say goodbye to you guys. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much for listening in to this point.
Oh my God.
Until next time. Bye.